During the transition from Lotus Notes to Wayne Gmail, your messages and your folders should have been brought over to Wayne Gmail. However, in Gmail, the folders that you had in Lotus Notes are handled a little bit differently. They're actually called labels in Wayne Gmail. And so this video is going to talk to you a little bit about how those labels work and how they can kind of be considered as folders. On the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see you have the mail link as well as compose and inbox. Over on the left-hand side, this is where all of your labels are kept. If you click more labels, you'll see that there is a drop down. There are other items that are hidden behind the more labels list. You can create a label by clicking on more labels here and then go down to the bottom of that list and click create new label. So I'm going to create one and show you how labels work. So I'll create a new label and I'm going to call this Robbie. I have the option to nest this under a different label if I want. So when you're thinking about labels, think of them as labels if you'd like, but you also, if you need to, you can think of them as folders because you can click and drag items into these labels or folders. You can also send items to labels or folders. So as I make these labels, I can also nest labels underneath other labels. So I could click this and then I could select a parent label here that I would want this one that I'm creating up here to be nested under. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'll just create this one label called Robbie. Go ahead and click create. And then you'll notice on the left-hand side, it's listed right under here. So that's my new Robbie label. So I'm going to put all of the messages in my inbox in the Robbie label or in the Robbie folder if you'd like to think of it that way. The easiest way to move the items into that label or that folder is to just click and drag the item into that label. Once it's highlighted, you let go, it gets put in here, and you'll notice that it's missing now from my inbox. If I click on the label over here to the left, I can now see that that conversation that I had in my inbox just a moment ago is now in that label. I'll go back to my inbox and click on inbox and show you another way that I can do this. I can also click on the message, and when the message is open, I can up here at the top click on the label button. And when I click on it, I can then assign it a label from right here. I just click on Robbie and click apply. And now that label has been applied to my message. However, I want to show you this thing that if I go back to the inbox, my message is still listed in my inbox. Because there's a difference in how labels and folders work, there is an additional term called archiving, an additional action that is called archiving. When you add a label to a message, it really doesn't do anything other than tag that message with that label. For instance, this particular message has the label Robbie to it. However, it's not been moved out of my inbox. To move it out of my inbox, I can right-click on it and click Archive. It removes it from my inbox, but if I go back to my label, you'll notice that it is now sitting here in my label, in my Robbie label. So if I go back to my inbox, another way that I can do this is if I click the box in front of a message or numerous messages, I can go up here and use the Move To button and click Move To. If I click that, it does two things at the same time. It actually applies the label and it also archives it out of your inbox and puts it in that label. So if I click Robbie here, you'll notice that now both of those messages are missing from my inbox. And if I click on Robbie over here, notice there's a number 2 there because those two messages, or there are 2 messages in there that have not been read. That's what that indicator means. If I click on Robbie, you'll notice that those 2 messages listed right here are unread. They're not in my inbox anymore, but they're sitting right over here in my Robbie label. So that is how labels work and how the whole archiving process works. It's as easy as clicking and dragging them into a label, create a label, click and drag it into a label, or you can, in your inbox, you can right-click and archive after you've applied a label with the label button up here at the top. You can also obviously create new labels or manage your labels from right here from the labels tool as well. So that's how labels work within Wayne Gmail.